Hello everyone, this is chapters 1, 2 and 3 of The Conquest of the World by the Cactus by Major Osman Bey. As you know, I've published this on Amazon and I'm just starting work now on an audio version. You'll find in the description box links to all the places you can buy it online. 1. The origin of the Jews. The Jews were at one time an Arab tribe living like the other Arab tribes upon plunder and the production of their herds. The Old Testament makes no statements from which we might gather the descent of the Jews from the Arabs. Arabic tradition, however, and especially the Quran, fixes the fact that Ibrahim alayhi salam, an Arab patriarch, lived with his tribe and his herds in Arabia, Hijaz, and laid the foundation of the holy Rabbah, Kaaba, the temple in Mecca, which has at all times been the seat of monotheistic worship, and where to this day prayers are offered up to the God of Abraham, Ismail and Muhammad. We do not know the circumstances which induced Abraham to leave Arabia with his tribe, but it was doubtless a desire to improve their condition which led them to emigrate. This assumption is all the more justified as the same desire has at all times impelled the nomadic populations to invade the lands adjoining the Arabian Peninsula. 2. Characteristics of the Jews. The Arabs are endowed by nature with an unusual degree of mental faculties, which throw those of all other races in the shade. The faculties which are thus peculiar to the Arabs are a strength of mind which is not deterred by any mystery or any distance, a ready and immediate comprehension of a plan, a fiery and energetic mode of acting, and finally an unparalleled cunning and craftiness. These faculties, which belong to the Arabs in general, were necessarily also inherent in the Jews, but together with these they possess certain other special qualities, which give them additional advantages. Thus the Arab is quick at the start, but lacks toughness and perseverance, whereas the Jew combines with a fiery temperament an obstinacy so inflexible that it may well be said the Jew never gives way and knows neither forgiving nor forgetting. Another distinction which may be observed in the character of these two children of the desert is this, that the Arabs incline more to the ideal and abstract, while the Jews are essentially material and practical. From the divergence of character it results that while the Arab experiences a platonic and spiritual reverence for the beautiful, the Jew sees it only in the useful. A Jew may well stop to admire a flower or any other object, but at the same moment he will be asking himself, how much can I make out of it? Rapacity is a passion which has become the Jew's second nature, and to which he instinctively lends obedience. The lust of gain is so strongly rooted in his organism that it extinguishes every other feeling, every other passion. The Jew knows, for instance, no self-love. If you sneer at him, he pays no attention to it. If you praise him, he laughs at you. But if you venture to keep a penny from him, he rages like a tiger. His only aim in life is gain. Hence, everything which does not have this object in view deserves no attention. This unlimited rapacity places the Jews in an everlasting antagonism to the rest of mankind, and hence the Jew wages war to the uttermost against all other men. This rage leads the Jews to believe that men are created only to cheat and devour each other. In this rivalry between men, it is the Jew's opinion that the most cunning and rapacious must, in the end, devour the others. Besides this belief in an endless antagonism between men is an idea inborn in the mind of the Arabs, for we find it prevailing in the doctrine of the Talmud as well as the Quran, two books that are a rich mine of Semitic ideas and traditions. But if the Arabs and Jews are agreed on this point, the manner and way in which they apply that doctrine practically is not quite the same. Thus the Arab, with his spirit of chivalry, draws a line of distinction between the states of war and peace, whereas the Jew recognizes no armistice and keeps up the battle without intermission. 3. The principle of material interests. A people endowed with natural gifts of such an extraordinary character naturally excite expectations of wonderful achievements. But the greatest miracle which the Jewish people has ever accomplished is surely this, that it has discovered the principle of material interests and its power as a social and political tie and as a means of the conquest of the world. This discovery was the result of the gradual development of the faculties peculiar to this people. In the midst of their intercourse with neighbouring tribes, the Jews were able to keep in view those political economical truths. Not those who acquire, but those who save attain wealth. Those who save obtain supremacy over those who squander. They furthermore observed that men in general place little value upon that which they possess, for the desire to acquire what they do not possess causes them to lose sight of what they hold in their hands. From this phenomena, the Jews derived those principles that have since become the basis of their commercial, social and political system. When their first attempts had been crowned with success, they endeavoured to extend their operations by emigration into a rich and fertile country, and hence resolved to abandon their native land, Arabia. It is proper enough to assume that Abraham and his tribe, before engaging in an enterprise of this kind, mapped out some sort of plan, which accorded with their natural gifts and the purposed undertaking. The plan which the invaders adopted was this: to seize all the gold and valuables of every country which they might invade, but to leave to the inhabitants life and their immovable property. The Jews argued thus: if we take the gold and the fruits of their labour from the inhabitants, we may surely leave them their fields and vineyards. If we succeed in making their riches our own, we shall become the masters and they will become our slaves. In adopting this plan, the Jews evinced an overwhelming genius, for they thereby rejected utterly different principles on which their predecessors had acted in making conquests, and formulated a new principle, that of material interests. Moreover, they applied it in its pure and simple form, that is, without support by physical force or religious influence. Let us now see how this principle, using the weapons of cunning and activity, has accomplished in the first period of its existence such astonishing triumphs, and has completed in the 19th century the conquest of the world. Okay, so that's chapters 1, 2 and 3 of The Conquest of the World by the Cactus. I know that it's potentially incendiary material, but I'm just interested in analysing how people saw the world in the 19th century, and I think this is extremely relevant. Of the nearly 5 books that I've published now, a lot of themes repeat themselves, and probably in videos on the main channel I'll start to comment on this and consequently gain a broader view of attitudes in the 19th century. I think this is very interesting. Anyway, that's it from me for today. Hope you have a great day. It's a really sunny day here. Look after yourselves.